Greetings to the viewers. Hello and welcome to the first TIES podcast. So, TIES is India's leading youth-led think tank built for a generation that doesn't just consume information but challenges it. We break down geopolitics, economics, defense, science, and tech in a way that's engaging, insightful, and clear.
So we are today joined by NGO named Pehchaan The Street School. It's a volunteer-led non-profit organization that's been providing free education to over 1,600 unprivileged children across the Delhi NCR region for the past 10 years. And it was started in 2015 with just a few students. And now it has spread across 10 locations in the region with support from 1,000 plus active volunteers.
And our esteemed panel today consists of the founder of Pehchaan The Street School, that is Mr. Akash Tandon. Mr. Akash is a dynamic social activist, educator, and changemaker who is dedicated to transforming the lives of underprivileged children through education and empowerment. As the founder of Pehchaan The Street School, he has spent nearly a decade bridging the education gap for marginalized communities, impacting thousands of children who lack access to formal learning. Now, with this, we begin with the session of questions and answers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Deepak and Jay, first of all, for initiating this. And since this is your first episode, so best wishes to you. Coming to the journey in 2015, yes, it was actually not even an idea. A lot of social work, we were involved in different activities, and throughout the college life, even I kept on doing something or the other. And eventually, there was a phase wherein we realized that whatever we are doing, wherever we are contributing, whichever social work or social cause you actually pick up, the day you stop contributing, the whole initiative will end some in some way or the other. And so eventually we thought that yeah, we have wasted almost 5-6 years and we are doing something, but what are we doing? Like as soon as we stop doing it, it just turns out to be zero. And that's when we came across a slum in central Delhi with over 10,000 residents. And once we came across this place, it was just adjacent to the WHO building, which is World Health Organization. It's just 50 meters apart. The only thing that differentiates or that divides both the places is a drainage that just passes by. So we were very keen. We were very excited to know like how can uh, such a huge place, a huge slum, be just 50 meters away from a World Health Organization's office. And that's when we actually went to this place and we realized that there were no basic facilities, that there were no sanitation facilities, there was no health facilities. Just being adjacent to WHO building, there were no health facilities. There was no water supply, there was no proper electricity supply, and a lot of issues were there. And that was the point wherein we felt helpless as an individual or even as a group, that even if we try to do some sort of help for them, we might not be able to do anything. Right? We cannot actually displace 10,000 people. We cannot feed 10,000 people every day. We cannot provide them with health facilities. We cannot give them water or electricity. So how can we help them, right? So that's when we actually came in that, we have been working for so long, and right now, whatever we have been doing, it just makes us helpless. We cannot do anything right now. And that was the moment when we just turned around and we saw a few of these children. They were just swimming inside that drainage that just passes by. For them, it was a swimming pool. That was an eye opener for us, and we just called them out and we asked them that why are you, because they don't know that this is not a swimming pool. They don't know that this water is toxic. It might kill them. And that's when we actually initiated this, that okay, let's just interact with these children and let's start giving us some sort of information, knowledge. And from there the journey actually initiated, and that was the point of realization wherein we actually uh, got to know that how important and how impactful education is. Like if you're educating somebody, if you're sharing your knowledge, if you're sharing your skills, if you're sharing your learnings with somebody, even if you stop someday, that learning, that skill, that knowledge will always be with that person. It will grow with that person, and every day it will make that person better. So I guess there's no impactful work than education ever, which can actually bring a change, which can actually impact. And that's how the whole initiative started. We started inviting students in small, small groups, and then we started teaching, and then seeing them. There were a lot of students who joined, I guess, in the very In the first 6 months, we had more than 50 students who started learning at this center. And within first year, we crossed 100 students. And today, we have 10 centers across different slums with over 1,600 students. So it was again, that was not even an idea that we had in mind that, okay, we'll go and we'll do something. It just came out as a learning for us that if we are investing time, let's do it in some way which would even stay when maybe after 10 years, when we leave this place and when we might not be able to contribute as much as we were contributing in 2015, would the impact still be there? And I guess the answer is yes, because again, education never dies. We all have been in schools, now we are out of school. Whatever we have right now, from the way we eat to way we talk to way we meet people, the way we walk, everything that we do is a learning that we have taken from our schools. And so school is over, but school's learning will never be over. So that is the whole story. That is the whole concept behind Pehchaan the Street School.
So, sir, following up on that only, so, sir, there is in data. So there is a skill gap, which is a large issue in our country. And the data also shows that the annual status of educational report 2023. So according to that, there were approximately 26.5% of rural youth aged between 14 and 18 who cannot read class 2 level text in their regional language.
Yes, yes,
And more
yes.
than half, that is 56.7% of the surveyed students aged between 14 and 18 cannot solve a simple 3-digit by 1-digit division problem, a skill typically which is expected in class 3 or 4. So, sir, as you are involved in the educational sector with this NGO you have established, so, sir, what do you think are the root causes and how should we tackle them? Thank you.
See, again, this is a very interesting question because I have been through this data. And a lot of people, when we actually go out in slums, when we teach, they keep on asking that, there's so much of work going on in terms of education. There are so many free schools. Why do we need such centers wherein you go and teach for free? And what I reply is, I mean, we all have been in private schools. So, Deepak, which school have you been in? Was it a private school or was it a government school?
It was a private school, sir.
Private school. Jay?
Sir, mine was also private school.
Private school. So you must be having a lot of people around you, all the private school people. How many of them went to tuitions?
So many
Half
of
of my
them.
class.
Almost half of them, right?
Yes.
And people who were not going either, they had some good, educated, well-educated people in their family who were dedicating time. So the problem is when even after being to a private school, a good school, there are people who need tuition, they need support. Having all the facilities, having an educated family, having all the resources, having all the privileges, you still need support because obviously you cannot study in a crowd of 40, 50, 60 students. Just imagine there are so many students, and in our case also, we find so many people who go to school, but once they come back, there's nobody who's educated around them. Their family, their friends, their relatives, nobody is educated. There's nobody to ask them, what did you learn today? Are you facing any problem? So what happens is whatever they go to school, they don't understand anything. They come back, there's nobody to answer their questions, there's nobody to even ask. After a point of time, they lose interest or they just drop out. So the basic issue is yes, the educational structure is not as simple that you just go to school and you'll know everything. There has to be counselors, there has to be free tuitions, there has to be people who come to you on a personalized level because that support is either can be given by parents or you need an alternate solution for them. So in tuitions, even if your same school teacher takes a tuition for you, he'll make you understand everything. What do you fail to understand in school? What changes is the way you approach. In schools, your only target is to complete a particular syllabus or a particular curriculum, right? But in tuitions, your target is different. In tuitions, you work. So the target for a teacher is that if I don't complete my curriculum, I won't be getting a salary. But for the target for a tuition teacher is that if I don't make this child learn, I won't be getting my tuition fee. So the objective actually changes everything. Now, since we had that privilege of going to tuition and having all those counselors and even a family educated family, we all are here. We are speaking English. We are using all these devices. We are recording podcasts. But a person who has no resource, no support, emotional, moral, any sort of support, they'll end up again being a dropout and then they have no option to obviously work somewhere or do any of these things. So they'll end up being a daily wage worker, and that cycle will continue with their families as well and their coming generations as well. And which also brings us to a point, it's a very good saying that if you teach one person in the family and if you bring them out of poverty, that one person can actually change the entire coming generation, which also proves how impactful, education is for us, because we have had that privilege. We usually don't value how important education is in our life. But if you go back and if you see, just if you would have never been to a school, just imagine how your life would have been. So that's the basic cause, I believe. On a very ground level, this is the basic cause: lack of moral support and support from people around them.
Rightly said, sir. We both appreciate your noble efforts. And sir, reflecting back on your personal journey, you today have over 1,600 children in 10 slums in Delhi, as you rightly recalled. So, our viewers want to know what were some of the early struggles of running an NGO and how did you overcome them in establishing the organization, etc.
There were three initial struggles. First, convincing all these students that even they can learn, even they should come. Because the problem is, they say we go to school, but what will change? And when you see all the people of your same age around you, they're either earning or they are just roaming around, it makes you feel demotivated. So the question is convincing them, first of all, that why you should learn. That initial, once you have 100 students coming to a center, seeing them maybe 10 more might come. But getting those initial 20, 50, or 100 students was a struggle. Second struggle was obviously volunteers, because ours is a completely volunteer-driven organization. We don't pay salaries, we don't take funding from government. So convincing people to spend their own money, spend their own efforts, spend their own time, come and work dedicatedly, it was a tough call. And since the minimum we take is we need people at least for 3 months to work with us. Right now, if you have to work for 3 months on ground, spending your own money, everything, even if the temperature is 48, 49 degrees, which is currently in next month, the temperature will almost touch 48 degrees. Why would you want to come? Right? So out of 10 people who apply, only 3 or 4 people would actually come on ground. And out of those 3 and 4, only 1 or 2 would actually work, because that is the cream of social workers, because they are up and above everything, every comfort. They just want to do social work. So identifying those social workers who can come and actually work, and not the social media people to create some stories and they want to post that, hey, I'm doing social work on ground. So that was the second struggle. Third, obviously, because we were a voluntary-driven organization, completely non-funded, arranging resources for these 1,600 students was a tough thing. Like even if you need, say, just 2 notebooks a month for 1,600 students, you need at least 3,200 notebooks. So if the average value is even 20 or 30 rupees, you would need at least 96,000, which is almost a lakh. So as an organization, we cannot buy. We cannot spend 1 lakh rupees on notebooks. And notebooks is just one thing, right? You need at least 100 more items. So inviting people to contribute, from stationery to eatables to accessories to electronics to shoes, bags, like there are 100 items. Inviting them to trust us to come on ground and donate was the third issue that we have faced. And I guess in the last 10 years, we have been able to convince a lot of people, uh, and seeing each other now. People, obviously, there are a lot of people who come and contribute. There are people who come and volunteer. Yeah, but these three have been the main challenges for us.
Thank you, sir. And so, building on that, we would also like to know that uh, you have your organization has taken a number of initiatives, particularly on women empowerment and more. So, sir, can you please elaborate on the initiatives that your organization has taken, or some similar initiatives apart from the street school?
We're also running a vocational center where we teach computers to everyone who wants to learn. Also, it's a street school, but it's also open school. Street school because we usually run it on streets and slums. Open school as in anybody, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their age, of their background, whosoever come and work with us, they are most welcome. Right. It doesn't matter. There are adults who come and they learn basic English. There are adult women who come who learn basic maths. Apart from this, also we are running it as a street school, But the kind of structure we have created, like for the 1600 students, these are not random kids, as you said, on street, that you just go random, you do a drive, you collect 50, 60 kids randomly and bring them, kill, chalo, let's do something. We don't do those things. So when we say that these are our students, they are all registered students. They have their ID cards, they get their attendance mark. Over the period of last 10 years, we have developed our own curriculum that we follow, because the structure that we do it is not a schooling structure. So we cannot use school curriculum. So we have developed our own curriculum. There are training programs for volunteers. So it's more like setting up a conventional schooling structure which runs in a very non-conventional manner. A school that goes to the slums, to your home. And again, unlike the 30 or 40 or 50 is to 1 ratio in schools, our volunteer is to student ratio is either 4 is to 1 or 5 is to 1. So every volunteer on an average has maximum 5 students, so that he or she can focus on individuals. They can monitor what they're learning. They can monitor their performance overall. And that's how we operate. So it is more like a personalized and customized way of teaching. So just like a tuition. So for most of the people who go to school, it's a free tuition center. For people who are dropouts, it is like a skill-based center. Like you go, you tell them, okay, you're a dropout, you can't read. Let me just tell you basic spoken English. And for students into school, for them, it is like a vocation. It is like an elementary school. They start from very basics. So again, it is very customized thing that whatever you want to learn, not just education, you want to learn arts, dance, theater, music, we have volunteers who come in after class. We do these sessions. We also have recently started psychology sessions. So we invite all the psychology students to come and do basic behavioral therapies with these students. So there are a lot of students who face challenges in multiple things, from anger management to basic behavioral issues. Some of them they're going through sexual abuse, domestic abuse. There are a lot of issues. So we try to help them with basic counseling as well.
Thanks, sir. So we have been observing your media reach, and we have seen that you have had many celebrities like Manish Sisodia and Raghuram acknowledging your and supporting your work. So, sir, in the NGO ecosystem and environment, how does this media reach and the endorsement from celebrities help? And what was it like reaching that level of visibility?
Okay, so initially it was tough. Initially it was required because, as I said, when we start as a fresh organization, we need volunteers, we need resources. But for an individual, it is just another NGO. Out of the 23, 24,000 NGOs registered in Delhi itself, we are just one of them. And there's a basic understanding of the people that it's an NGO. It is most of the NGOs, they are fake or they are not working on ground. Right. So breaking that stereotype, breaking that understanding required us to reach out to all these people, and we invited them that, hey, don't promote us. Come see what we are doing on ground. If you like it, post a picture. That's the only thing that we require. So that is how we started approaching people. We invited them, and from there we kept on getting a little bit of you can say credibility. A lot of students, when they saw that, okay, this person has been to this place, let me also go. And the best part about the centers that we have is, if you see it online, you'll feel happy. If you come on ground, you'll be 10x happy, because we can only post a certain things on social media, which is pictures and videos. But once you come on ground, the kind of love, the kind of vibe you see at the center, it's completely different. So we usually don't tell people that, hey, come donate something or do. We only tell them that come spend some time at our centers, and then automatically you'll be connected. Automatically you'll start working, and that's how the reach eventually came in. So with people seeing so many celebrities, they started coming. With them coming, they joining, they started referring to different people. And today we have so many collaborations. We have collaborated with more than 60 colleges throughout India officially, wherein students are coming and they're working with us. We have collaborated with a lot of companies in an initiative wherein they send us eatables, stationaries, their locally purchased products or their manufactured products. So they see that, okay, this company is doing and they've got a visibility, we can also do. Now we have the trust factor. Seeing them, volunteers also feel that, hey, there are so many people are working here, we should also work. So it's just a ripple effect. You initiate things, people see it, people join, because at the end, as I said, however social work you want to do, eventually people get attracted with social media only. right? So even though the work is genuinely we are working on ground, we still have to be a little social media friendly, wherein people can actually feel connected. Once they visit, then they're all us. But bringing them for the first time is wherein the social media plays the role.
So, sir, building on that only, sir. So, you started your journey in 2050, and it's now 2025. It's almost been a decade since the organization started. So, sir, obviously a lot of things has changed. So, sir, can you
Yes.
please walk us through how a day how a day begins in your center, how it works?
So initially, as I said, initial struggles was to set up things, to invite students, to invite volunteers, to invite like to get resources. Now, currently, as we speak, we have over 800 people who go on ground every week. This is not the total number of volunteers. These are minimum active people on ground, which includes research people, which includes operations people, which includes teaching interns, which includes psychology interns. So now, if you have, so initially the problem was we need people. Now the problem is we have 800 people, we have to manage them. Initially, the problem was we have only 50 students or 100 students. Now the problem is we have 1600 students. How do we monitor their performance? So the challenges are still there. It's just there are different form of challenges. Initially, when we had 100 students, we had a target that, okay, even if we have to arrange resources, that we only have to arrange resources for 100 students. Now we have 1600. So even if we arrange resources for 1000 students, we still lack of 600. We still have to work for 600 more. Initially, even if there were 10 volunteers, they were able to handle 100 students. Right now, even if we have 500 volunteers on ground, we still know that minimum requirement is 800. So we have to raise 300 more. So the challenges have not moved away. It's just now we are working on actually monitoring the impact and how we can utilize our resources better. If there are 1600 students who are coming to us, or if there are 1000 plus volunteers who are currently working with us, there's a trust on both the sides. So making sure that the child is also getting the right education, the expectations that they are coming with. Also the interns and volunteers who are, again, as I said, they spend their money, they spend their efforts. Are they having a good experience? Or when they go out, they would also say that no, all the NGOs are same. So our basic objective is whoever works with us, when they go out, they'll say that, okay, NGOs might be anything, but I work with a place wherein, there's all the genuine work that's happening. So that is what we are trying to actually maintain now, because it's 10 years of efforts. Anything that goes wrong will eventually question whatever we have done in 10 years. So now it's all the question of integrity and all the trust that people have shown in us.
Yes, sir. So you just mentioned how important it is to meet the expectations of the children from the slum areas that are coming to you for the education. And sir, based on that only, what kind of curriculum or activities do you focus on? How do you make sure that the learning is practical and relevant to the children's futures? Because you also had many dropout children as well who are coming to you, right? And so how do you adjust to them and their level of learning?
So our curriculums are actually topics, right? So instead of giving them a book to finish, we have divided all the classes in subjects and all these subjects into 10 to 15 top topics. That, okay, in English, third class student must know these 15 topics. So now the volunteer who's going, they have a clear visibility that these are the things that I have to teach. The problem with most of the people is we work on class basis, right? So sixth class, if there's somebody in this particular thing, then you have to only work as per that. But if it's a different thing, say, for example, if the topic is different, then you will actually go and work on that particular topic, right? So that is where the difference comes in. So both of them, they have a clarity that for particular class, what exact topics you have to go and make them learn. And similarly, the volunteer also has the clarity of the work that they'll be doing.
Uh, Thank you, sir. And sir, building on that only, uh,
Mhm.
going to a larger extent of the NGO, sir, as you already mentioned at the beginning, you have encountered people with some myths or misconceptions related to NGO. So, sir, can you please elaborate on that? That what conceptions or myths you encounter?
See, first is most of them, they check if they actually work on ground or not. Like most of them, they don't work on ground. Secondly, if you're consistently working on it, you'll also have to monitor the impact that you're creating. And you cannot just work randomly. And because there are a lot of random initiatives wherein you just do something, but there's no monitoring for that matter. So there has to be a proper monitoring of what the results are. Are you regular? Are you consistent? Are you monitoring results, or is it everything every time when you're working? Are you changing the things? Are you changing the environment? Are you changing the people involved? So if all the things are constant, you can actually monitor things, and you would hardly find, I would say, organizations which are working on a consistent level for years. Usually, they change the way they work, the way they operate, the people they work for, the people they work with. So consistency is something that you constantly need to carry. And once you're consistent, people also they start working as per the process that has been set up. Because if every time you're doing something new, there's no process set up. There are no guidelines, there are no rules, there's nothing that you can actually follow or you can guide people. But if you're working on a certain thing on a regular basis consistently, there's a set benchmark that you already have. So people either they meet the benchmark or they try to meet the benchmark. There's nowhere you can actually work under the benchmark because that's already set. And so that's, I guess, that's the basic issue, or that's the basic difference between what we do and what a lot of others are doing.
So, for our viewers who might want to contribute to your effort on ground, can you guide us to your recruitment process for the volunteers and how do you train them?
So again, you can visit the website. There's a form that you have, so you can just fill that form, and our team will connect with you. And for all the trainings and everything, whatever requirement is, depending upon your choice, depending upon the interest, we give them options on how we can onboard them, and all those trainings will again fall in line as per the profile that has been selected.
Oh, okay,
Okay, sir.
sir. Thank you, sir. And sir, building on that only, you have already described the workings of NGOs, and you have also told how you began your journey. So, sir, when you begin your journey, you must have encountered the support in the ecosystem. So, sir, can you describe how supportive is the ecosystem, ranging from registering with the government to convening people the message about the initiatives that your nation has taken?
See, initiatives, so registration processes are easy, right? These are standard. It's just that if we know the right process, if we know the right places to be at, and if you know the whole, because now, right now, everything is available online. So if you're well prepared, you can easily have it. If you're not prepared, then obviously you'll get used to of people and processes. So that is first. And in terms of people, I guess everybody uh, in our daily lives also, we want to do something, and if you get the right platform to work, everybody wants to contribute. It's just either you don't have time or you don't have right platform to contribute. But if you get both the options, be it online or offline, convincing people is not a problem.
Right. Sir, in the beginning of the our conversations, you mentioned how there was a slum right next to the WHO organization, right? And so we're seeing lately what has become is that there has been huge apprehensions regarding the foreign funded NGOs in India, such as the
Hmm.
Amnesty International, and they have been banned by the government as well, right? And so there's a lot of precautions against such activities of foreign organizations in India. So we wanted to know what are some legal hurdles that an NGO faces in India, and is there any difference between the functioning of a foreign NGO and an Indian-based NGO? Do you think there's a large conspiracy behind their working?
See, again, I would not like to comment on that, but yes, there are no foreign organizations. It is just you get fundings from there. But then again, it depends on you if you want to accept. So as I mentioned, there's no funding here. Right? It is all self-driven. So there's no scope of somebody from foreign or even domestically coming and funding you and driving the objectives and operations. Since it is all uh, self-funded, it is all voluntary-driven. So there's nothing that can actually change your operations or change your objectives or can impact you or try to capture the actual objectives with their own intentions. So that is the difference. Yes, there are a lot of organizations which might be doing it, but that is again where the difference comes in. So when we say that volunteer versus funded, that's the whole difference wherein it comes.
So, sir, how do you ensure transparency within your organization?
As I said, that we invite everybody to come and do.
Hmm.
So whatever you want to do, you can come and see and do it. We would never want you to, just sit at home, transfer funds, and then we'll be operating it. We ask you to come and do it by yourselves, see how things are happening on ground, and if you want to continue, you can continue. If you still have issues, you can come and actually talk, because once you come, the difference, you can actually have that difference with your eyes. You can experience that thing. Uh, so usually the transparency is when you're doing something by yourselves, for yourselves, and in front of you. You don't question. You cannot question anyone else.
Right, sir. So now circling back to your work, right? We started with your personal anecdote and how do you got the inspiration for starting the Pehchaan. And so from that only, we wanted to ask, what have you learned from working with all these children? How has the organization changed you personally?
So I guess my personal experience has been pretty much a lot of things. Because initially, when we initiated, we thought that we'll be helping people. But now, I guess over the 10 years, all the people who have worked here, we have learned so much from them. As basic as I mentioned in the beginning, we usually don't value how privileged we are. We have been educated, we don't realize how privileged we are. We still crib about small things, uh, related to small stuff, materials, accessories. There are people who enjoy every bit of it. Like, when was the last time you used a pen completely? When was the last time you used an eraser or a pencil completely? Like, I guess I have lost all my 10 last pens which I've bought. Even from Parker to a Reynolds. I usually, it is either stolen or I lose it. Right? But for them, even if you give them a used pen or a pencil, for them it's like a surprise. It's like a gift. They enjoy every bit of it. And when you spend time with them, you realize that instead of cribbing, if you start appreciating things that you have received, if you start appreciating the resources that you have already had, life would be so different and so happy. They are privileged people who, you meet every second person, then they'll be either sad or depressed about something, from relationships to marks to businesses to salaries. And then there's this segment which who has nothing, and they still enjoy every smallest part of thing. So that is one learning. Second, as I said, when we initiated, it was very small, with a very small number. A lot of people, they criticized us that what can you change, what will happen, even if schools can't help, how can you help? What will happen if you just spend 2 hours, 3 hours in a day? What will you change? And now, after 10 years, when the journey has been so vast and so productive, I guess that's the second learning, that if you're doing something with the right intentions, if you're doing something with whole of your heart and with all your efforts, things do change and things do lead to efforts and results.
Uh, so, sir, the organization has entered another decade. It has completed 10 years, and your organization has impacted positively to 1,600 plus underprivileged children. So, what's next for your organization? What's next for Pehchaan?
So the next, as I said, we want to create a structure, right? We don't want to see the kind of responses and the kind of people we have right now. We can actually create a lot more impact than we could even imagine. For example, which was the last organization you remember, which has been working for 10 years on volunteer basis, right? Which even after 10 years says that, we want to focus on this thing. We have 10 different operations, we have 10 different objectives that we can cover, but you don't want to move into, like, from feeding to promoting vocational courses. So we have so many opportunities wherein maybe we can work in 10 different domains. We don't want to. We just want to focus on one thing that we have been doing. Which was the last organization you remember who has 1,000 people working voluntarily on a regular basis? Like, minimum is 3 months. So you go on ground, you spend your money, you spend your weekends. But if it's raining, it's cold, it's hot, you're there on ground. right? Uh, Creating a place wherein anybody can come, right? It is not that you have to have a background, you have to have a proper document, or you have to be of a particular gender, or you have to be a particular age. Like anyone can come and learn. So setting up that organization, keeping it alive with the objectives is something that we have already done. Now, how do we sustain it in a way wherein we create more and more impact? For example, registration, ID cards is one very basic thing. So when we take 1600, there are a lot of people who, they'll say that we have 500 people because once we go to a slum, you can easily find a crowd. But is it your crowd? Do you even remember the name of all those 500 people? We do. So just like a school, when school says we have 40,000 students, they have the whole data that yes, class mein ye padhta hai, yes, we have all that data. Now we have also developed our own curriculum. So what do you want to teach? Is it impactful? Right now, which we are following is the second draft of our curriculum. So last year we had the first draft. Then over the year we implemented it, and then it took us 6 months to make changes to the current curriculum. And now we have last month only we have implemented the second phase of curriculum, which is a little bit more impactful. And now even if it's a adult, 65-year-old adult, a retired person who is one of the volunteers, to a 15-year, 14-year-old school student who is a volunteer. So we have a lot of school students who come and volunteer at the center. So from ninth class, 10th class, 11th class, right now also we are working with Rayan International Delhi. So we have around 13, 14 students from 11th and again 10 to 11 students from 12th class who are volunteering. And they come every week and they teach. Now, how do you make sure that 11th class student who is coming can also teach? So they need a curriculum, they need a reference which is as easy with a lot of examples and activities that even they can teach. Right. So वो setup करना that it becomes a platform that anybody who wants to help, who wants to share their skills, their knowledge in whatever format, in whatever way they can come, and anybody who's looking for help in terms of education, whatever age, whatever gender, whatever background, we don't care if you're a dropout. Maybe you are a 20-year-old dropout and you still want to come and learn ABCD. We will welcome you and we'll make sure that you learn. If you have the right intentions to learn and if you have the right intentions to contribute, our centers are open for you to work, uh, and we'll take all the other responsibilities, right? But yeah, intentions matter for both the sides. If you're not interested in teaching, you're only coming because you need a certificate or you need some social media mentions, we don't allow. If you're only coming because there are a lot of students and we want to just pass time, we don't want to learn, then again, we don't allow. So we are very specific about the people we entertain from both the sides, from the learning sector also and from the teaching sector also.
Right. Again, sir, we appreciate the great initiative you have taken, and sir, and you have been stressing how it is you have to care about these children and not just come for the certificates, for the photo ops, right? And sir, if there was one message that you would like to give to the our viewers, what would that be? And how can our viewers contribute to your cause?
The basic message would be again, wherever I believe as a human, we all want to do social work. We all want to do good work. So wherever you are, whatever you do, make sure you contribute at least in some way or the other in somebody's education. Because rest everything will fade away. Your contribution in terms of education will always stay. So do contribute. Try to educate at least one person around you, whosoever it may be. And for our contribution, we have a website. You can reach out to a website. You can donate online. You can come volunteer on ground. You can volunteer online as well. So we have around 3 to 4 options available on ground, and then around 5 to 6 options available online. So you can work online as well. If you want to celebrate your birthdays, you want to celebrate your anniversaries, you want to just come up with some gifts, we can arrange that also. We have a vocational center. So if you have any old device from laptop to computers to mobile devices, you can donate to a vocational center. And if you want to also sponsor, so we have some good students across all these centers who can't afford a formal education. So if you want to sponsor a child, we can also connect you to these students, and you can maybe pick one, two, or maybe a few students, and you can sponsor their school education as well.
Thank you, sir. This session was quite informative for us and quite learning for our audience as well as for our organization. Uh, Thank you for joining us. Thank you for telling us how your NGO works, how you contribute to the cause, and it was quite fascinating to know that how your organization has positively impacted the underprivileged children, the children who cannot afford basic facilities and education. Thank you, sir. Thank you for
Yes, sir.
this.
Oh, it's
And
my
sir,
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
again, sir,
And
rightly
yes,
mentioning the key points that you said. Education is one thing which no one can take away from you, and you have been rightly imparting this such a wonderful gift to all those children. I hope your effort brings through to our country and it's the successful of all these people. Thank you, sir.
pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much and best wishes for this initiative.